What is up, you guys? Glitchiz here, and welcome to an all-new Dauntless video. In today's video, I'm going to be going over all the updates that are coming in patch 1.11.4. There's not a ton of new things coming, but the few things that are arriving are actually really cool. So without any further ado, let's jump right into it. First things first, obviously we have the new Fenroar and Earthshaper Fenroar, new behemoth that's coming to the game. Hunt Down Fenroar, the evolved version of Sporestruck Embermane. So this is a new variant similar to what they did with Frostwolf, but they're making it its own unique behemoth now. This behemoth has a set of earth-shaking new attacks that give it full control over the battlefield. Slayers beware, however, the Earthshaper Fenroar, its dire variation, brings an even deadlier challenge to the Shattered Isles. And we have a cool little trailer here that we can watch in 4K. So let's check this out. Nice little slow-mo dodge. Quick little sneak peek at the armor set and the unique effect. I also want to jump over to latest news because we have a little bit more information we can go over. So the evolution has turned the Sporestruck Embermane into something quite different. Once merely a Terra variant of Embermane, this monster is now a full-fledged Terra behemoth that has extremely well-honed terraforming abilities. Its spore-speckled appearance is a result of mutation caused by infection from agarous spores. It is now further accentuated by the dynamic design of the fire leaves on its body, modified moss and mushrooms on its back, and an additional wooden horn. And here is a quick before and after of the design. So not a huge change, but it's definitely a lot more detail. I think it looks pretty cool, especially in game. So there is the wipe there. Moving on. Like its Embermane ancestor, the Fenroar moves extremely quickly, allowing it to easily gain distance or close the gap between itself and its enemies. Watch out for dive attacks, as this behemoth is a climber that often swoops down on its foes from the high terra platforms that it creates. And that leads me right into the terraforming abilities that are going to be changing. So terraforming is pretty much the theme of the new Fenroar, and its Terra Attunement allows it to manipulate the earth in various ways to make the battle a little bit harder. First up, we have stone walls. Now, there's two variations to this. There's a bigger version of the wall that collapses in on itself, and then a smaller variation, which kind of creates a tunnel. I don't know if that's a difference between the dire and the regular version of the Fenroar, or it could just be like when it's enraged or when it's normal. But here is a quick example of the new stone wall effect. There's the big one. And then here's the small one. Doesn't look like he's enraged, so maybe that's just the dire version or the regular version. Moving on, we have the Terra platforms. Manipulating chunks of dirt from the ground, the Fenroar is able to create Terra platforms that allow it to reach staggering heights. With the higher vantage point, this stealthy creature can then follow up with a dive attack on its intended target. So this is pretty much the same as it was before. Creates these elevated platforms and then drops down. Do keep in mind, obviously, this ability still creates an Aether Vent on the ground once he's done slamming. So if you get the proper timing on the dodge, you can use that Aether Vent to launch yourself in the air and mount the Fenroar. So that is another quick, easy way to get some bonus damage on it, especially if you're in a group. Next up, we have Rock Rain. During a fight, the Fenroar can force chunks of stone up from the ground that fall quickly back down due to their weight. These stones deal damage when they are launched into the air and when they hit the ground, so you can potentially get hit by this ability 2 times. The other thing I will mention is I think the formation of how the rocks form is a little bit different now. So here's a quick preview of that. It's got a pretty wide spread now. And it creates quite a few of them. It looks like 16 of them it creates. Maybe more. 20. Creates 20 of them, actually. There was 5 rows of 4 there. So definitely quite a bit more there. And then last but not least, we have Quicksand. This is only in the Earthshaper Fenroar, which is the dire variation that will have this ability. And the Earthshaper Fenroar has the ability to bury itself in the ground and chase slayers, creating rubble while moving. So here is a quick example of that. Annoying little knockback effect. Seems to have a pretty large range of effect. So be sure to watch out for that. Moving on, we have the weapons and armor. Defeat the Fenroar and the Earthshaper Fenroar to craft the Stonewood armor set and the Fenroar weapons. Fenroar weapons allow you to create Terra platforms of your own, which deal damage beneath them as they crumble. So similar to how the Fenroar creates its own platforms, every time you activate your jump ability, you will be able to create those platforms yourself, which can do damage when the rocks fall. I believe that ability also resets every time you use your lantern, so you can just keep jumping as long as you have fast lantern recharge. And let's see if I can pull up a larger version of this so you guys can get a better look at the weapons. Got the sword, warpike, the hammer, the axe, the repeaters, chain blades, and this is the strikers. And here is the armor set. So pretty cool looking. Moving on to rumors, the Ravening Parasites Chainblade skin and the Toxic Phage Helm skin rumors are existing rumors that we've had for a while in the game for the old Sporestruck Embermane. Those two rumors are getting updated steps, hopefully to make them a little bit more easy and tie them into the Fenroar. And a brand new Behemoth die rumor for the Petrified die is available when you complete a certain secret action while battling the Earthshaper Fenroar. I'm assuming this is probably breaking a horn or a tail while it's enraged or aether charged. That's usually what it is. And here's a quick example of that. There is an update that I'll go over later down in the patch notes of changes that they're making to all of the die rumors. So that's a pretty cool update that we'll go over here in a minute. The Fenroar will spawn on Underval Defile. It can also appear in the Toxic Behavior event on Underval Defile and in Aether Surge events. If you're up for a deadlier challenge, seek out its dire version, the Earthshaper Fenroar on Razor Cliff Isle. You can also find this variant on the Timeline Anomaly and Rock and Roll events on the Paradox Breaks, as well as the Poison Personality event on the Blazeworks. So that is where you can find them. Pretty cool updates, but let's jump back over to the patch notes. The other update we're getting is Rushdown. This is going to be a new cell coming to the game that is stamina based. Interrupting a behemoth now restores stamina and grants increased movement speed. At +6, however, you also have the ability to temporarily remove all stamina costs. Not sure if this is going to be a make or break cell. The only viability I see you could potentially have is within like Tempest builds for the movement speed. But then again, you kind of lose out a little bit because when you interrupt the behemoth to activate it, you're not getting the bonus for the movement. So we'll see how that works. I'll have to do some testing on that, but that is the new Rushdown cell. And I believe a couple pieces of the Fenroar armor will have Rushdown built into it. So be sure to check that out. We also have a new island adventure called The Seed. Uncover the true reason the Farslayer Gardener has chosen Auric's Peak as a place to settle. Dive into the tangled history of Auric Moss, a supposed explorer, and help recover a great treasure that once belonged to the Arbor Home Farslayers. Slayers can unlock this island adventure only by completing the Farslayer Gardener's first quest series and unlocking the Reforged node on the Slayer's Path. More small island adventures are coming in the future patches. Each of these are intended to give Slayers new ways to uncover stories about the Shattered Isles, all while boosting weapon experience at key moments in progression. We've also heard feedback on the clarity and reliability of the first set of adventure quests and are working to address it. We're also looking for ways to make future adventures stand apart from regular ones. This kind of comes from some of the posts on Reddit and questions to the devs about people feeling like the island adventures weren't really that exciting. You kind of just ran around. So through talks that I've seen on the partner forums and things like that, they are actively working on making these island adventures a little more interesting and adding a little bit more depth to them. So that's something exciting to look forward to. We also have a new dire discovery. The story continues. Cat's fears have been realized. The Sporestruck Embermane has evolved, assuming a new, more powerful form, the Fenroar. Meanwhile, Granny Strega may have some knowledge that could help reveal more about the way behemoths are evolving, if only she'd stop speaking in riddles. So that is going to be added to the game as well. Moving on to quality of life, and this goes over the die rumors update that I was telling you about. all die rumors have been updated to remove hand-in quest objectives. For each die rumor, part 1, now all you have to do is slay the behemoth 10 times, slay the behemoth 1 time while it's enraged, collect 2 epic parts and 5 rare parts. For each die rumor, part 2 is going to be completing 3 weekly challenges, completing 3 silver bounties, and collecting 500 Hunt Pass XP. So much more straightforward. I know I probably have 5 or 6 die rumors that I've just been too lazy to finish because of all the random objectives you have to complete. So they've been a lot more streamlined now and should be easier to bust all of these out and finish them off. Moving on to balance changes. For the Spore Problems update, fitting, Fenroar now appears in this mission. The Spore collection stage of the mission has been reduced from 3 minutes to 90 seconds, and the buff granted by the Spore collection stage has been adjusted to account for the time decrease. Moving on to bug fixes, phalanx, the severed phalanx parts now fall and collide with the ground in a more stable manner. They used to bounce all over the place. Chain blades, the description for the serrated blades mod in the Slayer's Path now correctly matches the item's description when viewed in the loadout screen. The mission Spore Problems no longer disappears from the hunt menu when actively working on certain quests. For rumors, part 4 of the Shadow Scythe rumor chain now also counts heroic Riftstalkers as intended, and part 5 of the Shadow Scythe rumor chain now also counts heroic Thraxes as intended. So the cool little scythe transmog that's been around for a while, probably one of the cooler looking ones in the game, should be a little bit more straightforward and not as buggy. You should be able to pick that up a little bit quicker. And for cosmetics, dyes can no longer be unlocked from the loadout panel without purchase. The Champion's Plate chest armor now performs better during motion. A number of emotes with props now transition smoothly, and titles now always appear as they should. So pretty cool updates. Not a huge update, but like I said, the changes to die rumors, the new island adventures we're getting, as well as the new Fenroar are pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to picking up all those new weapons and the new armor set. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. If you found this video informative, be sure to smash that like button, comment down below. I appreciate your guys' feedback, and as always, if you want to keep up to date on all my future Dauntless content and my future 4K content that I'm posting on the channel, consider hitting that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. Till the next time, you guys, hope you had a great day, and we'll see you all later.